Hi, good afternoon. This again is Don Matheson. I'm going to keep saying a former member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police because I was once proud of that. I'm not anymore. And I'm sure the odd person is going to say, well, stop saying it then. Okay. Behind me is a flag. It says, "Lest we forget." I'm quite sure there's 7 military personnel on it. And I have 2 of them on my front lawn, and I gave my neighbor one yesterday, and it looks good on his lawn too, because I can see that one from my living room, which I could see the 2 of them on my farm when it was on my sign there. And I fly these flags 3 weeks before Remembrance Day and 3 weeks after Remembrance Day. And as you notice, it says, "Lest we forget." Well, most of us have already forgotten. We have a lot of veterans that don't even have homes, yet they were prepared to give up their life. They don't eat properly. Nobody looks after them properly. They're just kind of forgotten, especially when their other significant other half passes away. So why do we celebrate it if we don't honor them? As far as I'm concerned, these flags are not that expensive. I value my Canadian flag, but maybe we could take half of them down for a week or 2 and fly this other one that says, "Lest we forget." After all, isn't that what this is about? I don't want to continually just see the Canadian flag in front of me up there. These are men that lost their lives, their arms, they lost everything. So, and then I want to get over to, I've got a paper in front of me and I have my glasses on. I don't care what I look like. Okay. And it just probably, I'm just hoping one day I can pick up a newspaper. And I picked up the Calgary Sun today, October 29th, 2024. And second page in, page 4, sorry. Parents of man killed by police appeal for further action. This Anthony Heffernan, 27 years old, was shot dead in a motel room in Calgary. By what, 4 other police officers? I understand that's what it was. And this chief of police that's down there now, what's he doing about any of this? Okay. Monday's hearing was that Hefferman's opportunity to appeal Neufeld's September 2020 decision, which dismissed most of their complaints against the officer's use of force. How did he do that? Would somebody tell me how Neufeld, the chief of police, dismissed it? There are 4 other police officers in that room. And do you think they didn't get together and make a big story up of what went on? When are we going to stop hearing this? Okay? If it isn't Edmonton that's got it out there, it's Calgary. If it's not Calgary, it's Regina. If it's not Regina, it's Vancouver. When is this going to stop? That police officers can kill at random? Oh, I can see the guys now saying, what the hell does this guy think he's saying? Well, what is it, guys? How come it takes 4 of you to put one guy down? And did you even have a right to go into that hotel room? Or used by force? The lad was missing didn't catch his morning checkout. So what, 4 of you went storming in there and killed him? When are you going to be held accountable, cops? You know, in Alberta, there's more police-involved shootings than in the entire province of Ontario. Look at the difference of the population. So what is it out here? Are we crazy or something? Okay, no, the Mounted Police have a new union now. And I'm not going to fault the higher up ranks on this one because they're not covered under this union. So the officers in charge have to put up with what that union is doing. I arrived here about 1.5 years ago, and the biggest complaint I had from members that are working are saying, "Don, help us get rid of that damn union." So is that the problem? Well, the biggest problem, the family's hoping that they'll get something out of this. The families, Heffernans, will never get anything out of this until police officers learn to tell the truth. What's sacred that a police officer that's sworn an oath to uphold the law can't even tell the truth? And when one of these lads now has left, he left in 2020, so they can't touch him. Wow, isn't that something? If he'd have been charged under the criminal code under an investigation, it didn't matter where he went in Canada, they would touch him. So when are the mounted police and all other police forces going to stop charging members under a code of conduct? Wow. Or the Police Act. These guys know they can do whatever the hell they want, and the occasional woman can do whatever they want, and nothing is going to happen to them. And I'm going to touch on 3 Mounties right now in British Columbia. A lovely young lady, they came forward from, they're in Coquitlam, and they belong to a Snapchat, a chat snap. And they have said everything and done everything racist they could say. And these guys are now coming into their 4th year on salary, suspended with full salary. They're making a minimum of $110,000 a year, so they've now managed to put aside $340,000 of your money, public. You're paying for this. And I'm only talking about 3. What is there across Canada in the mounted police? 100, 200? How'd you like to multiply that by $110,000 and be able to sit on their butts? And some of them can even have another job while they're suspended with pay. And as for the chief in Calgary, why has it taken 10 years for this to finally get looked after? Come on, chief. Where the hell have you been? Okay, that's about the only bad word or negative word I'll say, but there's a little more emphasis to it when I say it. So, what are you going to do, chief? Pass the buck and say, well, no. There just wasn't sufficient evidence. Well, when 4 guys get together to collude, make up a story, you bet they're not going to break it. So what's the quality of these police officers anymore? I'm not talking just about Calgary or Edmonton. I'm talking about all of them. The member in Edmonton now has what? 8, 9, 10 sexual offenses over disadvantaged women, people that are having drinking problems, going through divorces, and he finds them at night in a patrol car. Who the hell have we got serving the public? But more important to me, who have we got looking after the ones that are serving the public? How do you get, and you can pension out after 10 and 12 years, even in the mounted police, on full pay, when you've been charged with an offense, suspended with pay? It's not just in this province, it's in every damn province the mounted police exist. And again, I think we've handicapped some of the officers that would like to do something because they're not covered under the union that the men and women are. So when are we going to find some people that just say, hey, I think it's time, guys, we just tell the truth. We did this wrong. You know, you got families that are literally begging to find the truth. And once a group of police officers get together, you're never going to get the truth, especially when they're in trouble. So who trains them anymore? Well, I don't think the training has a lot to do with it anymore. A cop that wants to go bad just goes bad. It doesn't say all of them go bad. And we are losing so many civilians on wellness checks. Wellness checks. The police are going to check to see if they're okay, and they end up dead. Well, at the same time, on some of the wellness checks, so do our members end up dead too. Okay? So in all fairness. But it's a small percentage of ours that end up dead compared to the people that we're doing wellness checks on. So when is this going to stop? When is Mike DeHame, the Commissioner of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, going to start to look into this? This is on you, Mikey. Mike. This is on you. Lately, you've just been getting jacked up on interference. But that doesn't stop there, your job, Mike. Okay? You wanted to be the commissioner, then you're going to take the blame. Okay? Oh, what are you going to say, Mike? Well, I got deputy commissioners, Don. I can relegate and delegate. That does not relieve you of the responsibility of knowing, or you should know, what's going on in your own outfit. Don't you have the last say? Come on, Mike, don't put your head down and hide. You're pretty good at that one. So, and our good old chief in Calgary just finished with a Mr. Wells, a native lad. He's dead as well. That was sickening to watch. He had a spit mask on, and while the people were standing around that were supposed to happen, he drowned in his own blood and regurgitation. How do you call that helping, people? So why did you join the police force, you guys and gals? Okay. Did some of you guys join so you sexually assault a female Mountie? Female police officer? And have a look at who's on the police boards, on every police force. It's mostly men. Men that shut down any kind of inquiry when it involves our women. How many of you guys are really proud of that? Okay. You can take John Tory. Oh, the poor mayor of Toronto. Gee whiz, he was having sex with a what? 30-year-old woman, a staff, a member, not a police officer. And what was he, 65, 67? What guy wouldn't love to have that situation? And he put out the sad story about sadness with his own family. But he wasn't going to say anything about it until one of the newspapers caught wind of it. And they were about to break the story. So John Tory decided to come forward and tell us how sad he was. And how did it hurt him? What was his next job about a year and a half later? And the sad part for me was he was on the police board that stopped all female inquiries of women that were being sexually abused from coming forward. So who are we, guys? You ever look at your own daughters? How do you do what you're doing? And then lie, barefaced lie about it. I'm sitting on my front lawn in Lacombe, Alberta. It's cool. We had some snow last night, but it's still a beautiful day. And besides, I'm above ground, so I'm grateful for that. So how many more mornings I'm going to get up and go down and get my newspaper and find out that we've got another police officer that's charged with sexual assault? But not just one. How about a dozen, 10, 8? Oh, and the police just don't know what to do with them yet. Oh, well, look, we'll put them on full pay for a while until we decide. What, 5, 6, 9, 10 years later? So why are the rest of you people there if you can't deal with these issues? I'm just shaking my head. The other day when I was out at the Bighorn Dam, I was doing this a lot. Yeah, because I had 7 or 8 little bugs in my hairline, so I wasn't scratching my forehead. I said I was once. So when are we going to do something, guys? When are you going to honor the oath you undertook? And by the way, you didn't take it to Canada, you took it to the Queen. Now you're taking it to the King. The King's Cowboys. Wow. Rootin' tootin', here they come. I don't denude the police officers that are trying to do a good job. Believe me, I don't. And I think it's 10 times harder because of the guys and gals they've got that are breaking the laws. Do you not care about your own outfit? Well, obviously you don't. And take a look at the guy in Edmonton. Wow. He just preys on disadvantaged women. And they're saying, oh, well, we think we'll fine him $1,000. We haven't decided for sure what we're going to do with him. Boot him out. Get him the hell out of the uniform. I don't care what he's been through before. He connives and he plans how he picks these women up. And then you're going to say, oh, well, he's got an emotional problem. Yeah, the emotional problem is he's a creep. He's a predator. He's able to plan all these things, yet, oh, he'll find a good lawyer, Don, and we'll get him off. Get him to hell out of that uniform. He doesn't belong in it. And for the families that are suffering and still suffering, like this one that I've got in my hand here, it's 10 years old. And now deciding they're going to do something. Pleasant looking young fellow, isn't he? "10 years this family's been waiting for some answers. Come on, Chief in Calgary, where the hell are you? You gonna put this off? Oh, that's right. You had a gal employed by you, and she didn't agree with what you were talking about. So you put her on a non-disclosure agreement? And what, now you're suing her? What is it, Chief? What is it you have to hide that you can't allow your staff to talk about? I think if it's anything that they honor, they're not going to talk about it. So why are you suing a woman in your own occupation, Chief? You guys just get worse. You don't get better. I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to find a different place to sit. But I'm not going to stop doing this because there's no police officers that are doing it. I'm tired of opening up a paper and seeing another young person that was killed. And 4 or 5 or 9, 7 guys were involved in it. That's a nice bit of colluding, isn't it, guys? You get everything together before they separate you. I think what's sad is that I can say it didn't happen during my time, especially with what is happening now. So what's the quality of the cop anymore? Why can't we trust them? I said the other day there's a teacher, I think 32 years of age, that she groomed a young student so she could have sex with him. That young lady has 4 children. They sentenced her to 4 years in jail. 4. That's pretty traumatic. But we don't sentence any police officers to jail. You want to use a comparison? There it is. Okay. She's got a rough road to hoe. Well, she was trusted with a young boy. But we trust a lot of male police officers. That they kill them. And none of them will do time. Not one of them. So I've always said on the back of my vehicle that says equality for everybody. Quality of equality. Yet we don't deal with the women the same way we do the men, do we, guys? Okay. So why are we looking at keeping any of these police officers? They don't belong wearing a uniform. They belong the hell out But before they get booted out, they should do some time. But our outfits don't want to do the investigation, do they? Well, by not doing it, you're really bringing yourselves down. Okay? You're not helping anybody, you're hurting more people. Okay, I'm dressed warmly here, so this doesn't bother me. I actually enjoy it. Besides, I don't have to go very far. And I was going to show you the blacktop of my driveway. Border Paving did a fantastic job for me on it. I don't stand that much anymore or walk. I ran into a few bad cops in the mounted police here recently, myself and a young lady, and we now have lawyers. We are going to charge them. I'm sick and tired of police officers that commit crimes, that nothing happens to them. And mostly when we allow them to go on suspended with pay. Do we let everyday people do that? Of course we don't. So why is there an exemption for police officers? I'm not going to sit out here much longer. I just wanted to bring some things forward and what's happening. We're coming up on Remembrance Day, and I'd like to keep that clear for a special podcast. Like I said, there's 2 flags behind me that represent that. There were 2 of those on my farm as well. And my neighbor, Jules, who's a super good guy, saw the flag and he said, "Where could I get one, Don?" I said, "I have an extra one, you can have it." And he has that on his lawn now. So why can't we get these flags, and why don't we do a little bit of a project for the town of Lacombe? These are not expensive flags. And for a commemoration for next year, why don't we put as many of these flags as we can on the lawns in Lacombe, Alberta? I know what a Canadian flag looks like, but I want to honor our war dead and those that served. They're not expensive. Why doesn't Lacombe take on something like that and make sure every lawn has one of these flags for at least a week before Remembrance Day and a week after? They don't hurt anybody, but they add to the properties. And besides that, how many vets do we not even care about? Where they're at, what they're doing? Are they homeless? Are they without food? All right. So again, and I may decide to trim this pink thing up that I have on my face. I'm not going to take it off. I made a promise and a commitment to some young people, and I intend to keep it. What was the promise we made to our vets? Public? That we would look after them? To hell we do. How many are homeless? They gave up everything for you. All right. So I'm going to go and try and enjoy the rest of my afternoon. I got a lot of leaves here I have to rake yet. I kind of thought I'd leave them through the winter. It's probably better for the soil. Anyways, this is Don Matheson again. And you want my regimental number? It's 22761. Yeah, I'm one of the old guys that care. Because you, the public today, sure as hell don't. All right. So I'm going to wish you good health, to you and yours, much happiness. Stay well. That's not a request. That's an order.